I told myself it was just another late-night class. Nothing more. Until he closed the door behind him. Until his eyes found me like I was the last good thing left in his world. And then he asked, quiet, steady, almost daring. If I kiss you right now, will you stop me? He was 25. I was 50. His knuckles were bruised. His voice was too calm to be safe. And in that instant, I realized. This wasn't just a student. This was a storm I wasn't ready for. The classroom was dim, half empty. Smelled of chalk dust and resignation. It was 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Everyone else seemed tired, barely hanging on. And then, the door creaked. He entered. No apology. No explanation. Just a nod. A presence that unsettled the air. Black hoodie clinging with rain. Tattoos crawling up his arms like secrets. Eyes that looked tired, too tired for his age. But curious. Watchful. Dangerous. He didn't open his book. He didn't take notes. He just stared. Not creepy. Not desperate. Measured. Quiet. Like someone who saw through things he wasn't supposed to. And when I read Neruda, tonight I can write the saddest lines. His head lifted. And for the first time in months, I felt seen. Not as a widow. Not as a woman past her prime. But as someone who still mattered. Class ended. The others fled. But he stayed. He asked me no questions about the syllabus. No talk of deadlines. Instead, he stood in the doorway like a storm held back by a fragile lock. And asked me, do people ever get over grief? Or just survive around it? I should have answered as his teacher. But I didn't. I couldn't. That night, the rain fell heavy, drowning out the city's noise. I stepped out with my umbrella, expecting silence. And then, there he was. Jace. Waiting. Eyes locked on me, not asking, not pleading. Just, there. He offered to walk me to my car. I asked, without knowing why, how far his place was. 15 blocks, he said. More, if we talk too much. So we walked. 2 shadows moving through rain-slick streets. 2 ghosts carrying too many unspoken things. We spoke of poetry, grief, silence. He told me of a father who disappeared without goodbye. Of a mother who was there, but never really there. And I told him of my marriage. How sometimes death isn't what ends things. It's just what finally names the ending. We stopped under a flickering streetlight. And when he looked at me, I wasn't his teacher anymore. I wasn't just older. I was becoming. His hand brushed my cheek, hesitant, reverent. And then his lips found mine. Slow. Careful. Not taking. Giving. And my umbrella slipped from my fingers. We told ourselves it was about poetry. A Saturday. A library. His project. My help. That's all. But the silence between us betrayed us. It thrummed. A quiet storm. He read aloud. Desire, not as hunger, but as the ache to be seen. And then his eyes weren't on the page anymore. They were on me. His hand found mine. Warm. Asking without words. I didn't pull away. Later, between the shelves, I felt his breath against my neck. His whisper trembling. I can't stop thinking about the way you read those lines. And before I could stop myself, I kissed him first. It was desperate. Forbidden. But holy in the way sins sometimes are. His hands slid to my back, then my waist. Like he was memorizing my yes. We didn't go further. We didn't need to. But as we walked away from that corner, we both knew. We had crossed a line. And no syllabus could erase it. I opened my door that night, and I already knew. This wasn't rebellion. This wasn't loneliness clawing for warmth. This was healing dressed as temptation. Jazz played low. 2 glasses of wine waited untouched. And on my couch sat a boy who didn't feel like a boy anymore. Jace. Quiet eyes. Nervous breath. And me. 50. Haunted. Alive again. He pressed my hand to his chest, heartbeat wild beneath my palm. Then don't, he whispered. And when he kissed me, it wasn't hunger. It was prayer. We undressed slowly, reverently. Like unwrapping wounds we'd both carried too long. He touched me like I was fragile and divine. And when tears slipped down my cheeks, he kissed them. And whispered, "You're still beautiful." We moved together, not in rhythm of lust, but in rhythm of 2 broken people trying to remember what it feels like to be whole. And later, as dawn spilled across the floor, I woke to the sound of coffee brewing. And there he was, sitting in my study, reading poetry I hadn't touched since my husband died. He looked at me not with judgment, but with awe, and whispered words that shattered me open. "You're not too old for me. You're just not too late." And for the first time in years, I believed him. Kindly leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more exclusive contents.